As you know, some Republicans have looked at this plan and said if you increase the corporate tax rate overall, in the long run, jobs could be eliminated. They cite one study, the Tax Foundation, that says that increasing the corporate tax rate will eliminate 159,000 jobs over the next 10 to 30 years. How do you respond to that criticism that in the long run, this plan kills jobs?
I don't agree with that assessment. So a few points. First of all, every business leader I talk to, big and small, agrees we must make these investments in infrastructure in order to compete. If we don't invest in semiconductors, we're going to fall further behind. If we don't invest in job training, we're not going to have the workforce that businesses need to compete. So it's essential that we make these investments. With respect to taxes, there is not a shred of evidence to show that the cuts in 2017 increased growth or productivity. Actually, very little of it went into additional R&D. So the fact of the matter is the corporate structure today is broken. Many companies don't, large profitable companies pay no corporate taxes. So I'd like to think we can all agree that it needs to be improved, level the playing field, close the loopholes, and have a discussion around how we do this together to improve competitiveness.
If it is raised to 28%, though, that would put the U.S. at one of the highest in the world. Does it have to be 28%? Would you go lower? Could you accomplish the same thing if the tax rate weren't raised to 28%?
So there is room for compromise. That is clear. The president has said a few things. We have to get this investment done. He's charged us to work across the aisle and in a bipartisan way, and we need to pay for what we're doing. Like our proposal is to invest in 8 years and pay back over 15. Now we can have a discussion about that. Should we pay it back over 20 instead of 15? Is the rate not quite 28? Is it something, lower? So we want a compromise. What we cannot do, and what I am imploring the business community not to do, is to say, we don't like 28, we're walking away, we're not discussing. That's unacceptable. Come to the table and problem solve with us to come up with a reasonable, responsible plan.
Just to follow up on something Secretary Raimondo said, she was very clear that there is room to compromise on increasing the corporate tax rate to 28%. As you know, Senator Manchin is saying he wants it to be as low as 25%. Is there a scenario where the president would go that low?
Well, look, here are principles. Debate is inevitable. Compromise is inevitable. Changes are certain. And our main bottom line is inaction is not an option. And so we see it as a positive that Senator Manchin, that others, Republican members, other Democrats have come forward and said, I like these pieces. I propose a different component on the tax piece. We're happy to have that discussion. And what we are seeing, though, is broad agreement about the need to invest in and modernize our infrastructure.
Could you get everything you wanted in the bill at 25%?
Well, just like any discussion or negotiation, there's lots of factors. It's like a Rubik's Cube. I don't know if that's the right analogy, but if you are proposing a lower tax rate, then you have to make some decisions.
What would you compromise on that?
We're going to have those discussions with members of Congress. Expect the president will welcome members of both parties here when they return next week, and he'll have those discussions with them. We're having them with committee staffers, with staffers on the Hill, to see what the push and pull can be, where there is agreement. Let's start there. Where there are alternative ideas, additional ideas. Remember, some members are proposing to make the package smaller. Some are proposing to make it larger. That's all a part of the discussion.
You said yesterday, Jen, the president continues to believe that there is a bipartisan path forward. Is that realistic given the backlash that you've seen so far from Republicans? And if the president can't win over any Republicans, is he staying true to that promise of ushering in a spirit of bipartisanship?
Well, here's how the president sees it. Democrats and Republicans will have ideas about what they like or don't like about the plan. That's a good thing. That's democracy in action. That's the American way. Our view, his view, is we don't just fix what is broken today. We build for tomorrow. And his idea of infrastructure is evolving is that it should evolve to address the needs of the American people. We believe there is a fair amount of opportunity for agreement, that we are open to compromise. We welcome the debate, and we'll look forward to having those conversations when members return.
You would pass it along party lines if you needed to.
I don't think we're quite there yet. The president believes there is an opportunity to work with Democrats and Republicans, that there is agreement on the need to modernize our infrastructure. There is agreement that we need to do more to compete with China. Let's start with areas where we agree and have a discussion from there. Go ahead.